Your plan, as stated at this point, is to set up an Overwatch position and allow Damien to go into the Flensing building to find your target. However, Brother Solomon, the man who can't tell a lie and wears heavy armor, is determined to accompany this warrior into the Flensing building. What do you do?
We'll put a hand on Brother Solomon's shoulder. Brother Solomon, I appreciate your excitement, and I understand you wish to help. Unfortunately, you are not the best operative to go undercover with Damien. It is not a slight against you. You are doing the best you can, and also I will need you to carry this gun and to protect me. Can you do that?
And I think he knows. Like he's not like stupid. He knows he's not. He just wants to help and protect. So as long as you give him something else, I think he'll pivot so fast. He'll be like, yes, operational coverage on the mission. An eye in the sky.
Precisely.
Perfect. Where is the best spot for me to locate? Also, can you teach me how to use this weapon? I've never seen it before in my life.
We will talk about that. Judge, would you be willing to go with Damien and protect him?
Very good. I'm going to keep Rex out here. He will keep you safe, Larsa.
Larsa is curled up in a ball on the sled, not moving.
Rex, too. Protect, and I point at Larsa. To an extent.
Jesus.
You see Rex's eyes flashing red. It's not sure what that command means.
I would think he would, but I'm like, no, remember, just like if she becomes, I'm going to hand signal to the dog. The dog doesn't, Rex too doesn't.
Yep,
okay,
yep.
And I'm just going to say, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Fuck me. I'm just like,
It's so perfect, dude. It's so
I'm
good.
like, if she becomes dead weight, or if she's injured to an extent where she cannot save herself, or brings you into danger, or compromises your safety, you must leave her.
Roll me an animal handling.
Fuck me.
It's an incredibly elaborate command where you're expecting this dog to be able to make reasonable calls at its own time. It's a dog brain inside a robot that's been around for 400 years.
we should all be shocked that it knows sign language.
For the record, I don't know how much sign language it knows. We're going to find out.
It's complicated.
It's a 400-year-old dog brain.
How many years is that in dog years?
Times 7.
Yeah.
It's a 3,000-year-old dog brain.
Complicated gestures.
What did you roll?
15.
15. It got some of that.
Yeah.
It acknowledges acceptance of the order.
Kill Larissa. Bite her throat.
I see the dog's head cock, just like, "Arr." I'm like, and then I then clock Larsa, who's also a little concerned, I would take it.
Yeah, after the extent
Up to a point,
thing.
yeah.
So I just motion the dog, disregard, protect, and then I turn to Larsa, and I'm just like, don't be dead weight.
She doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
All right. How far away is the Overwatch position versus the hospital med
The med
station?
stack itself?
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking at about a 2-lane street across. So imagine sidewalk, 2-lane street, sidewalk, hospital building. So
Right.
any of the buildings that you could get around that are hab stacks, like apartment buildings that are that distance from the central building
Great.
itself.
I'm just thinking as far as how far away, if she would need to give orders to her servo skull separate from her, if I'm going to get far enough away that matters.
Yeah, you're not sure when it comes to equipment inside what might interfere with it. At the same time, you could just tell the servo skull to follow Damien's commands.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is I wanted to make sure if I needed to do that would be in place.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing that I would say, probably a reasonable thing that you don't need to roll for, the judge is currently wearing an Arbites helmet under his robes. That will fly if he is walking on the street, but if he's going into the building, it would sort of be like having a space marine wear a coat. When they see the space marine helmet, they go, that's a space marine, and they immediately open fire. So him going in full Arbites uniform is not going to fly. He's going to have to give up the helmet if he's going to go into the
Perfect.
Or it's like a Ninja Turtle going to see critters in theater wearing a trench coat and a hat.
Yep. So Morgan,
it wouldn't work.
Yeah, Morgan will walk up to the two of them, unknowing of the Ninja Turtles conversation.
Let's take a pause and we'll talk about the fact that it absolutely worked. Yeah. They saw the film.
Casey Jones thought he was some sort of punker.
Someone hit him with a car and they didn't notice he was a turtle.
Yeah.
Let's be
That's
real.
New York, baby. That's just how it is on the streets of NYC.
all the time.
They'll just be like, hell of a Halloween costume.
I will remind you, if he doesn't give you this helmet, the entire hospital will try to kill him.
Perfect. But first off, she's going to walk up to Damien and say, Romeo, if you get out of range from me, follow Damien's commands. It takes voice commands. And the service goal will just hover next to your shoulder, hang out with you.
Eyeball it a little bit.
Yep. Then she will walk over to the judge. Judge Rex, it pains me to say this, but I'm afraid you will have to take off your helmet in order to pass as a cultist, since they will be at eye level with you. I understand your vows as a judge and your feelings about this are certainly difficult, but it is for the mission. We all do things that we hate in order to make this team safe.
It's just like, how far does he bend? Like, he's already bent a lot. He's just trying to weigh options. One of the big things about being a judge is you do not show your identity. I think it weakens you in the eyes of everybody else. It undermines your authority. It also it shows a lot of vulnerability as well that he can't afford to give away. So he's going to have to find a way around this if he's to take it off. So there's a hood on this that I've been wearing. I'm going to pull it down further. I'm going to poke holes for my eyes.
Like an executioner's cowl, kind of?
I believe it would be like that because I've been covering
that
it
off.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to turn away from everybody.
But not your mic.
But not my mic.
Surely not your microphone, though.
Yeah. Surely you weren't miming this out fully in reality, turning away from the show.
Yeah. I got you, baby. We're good. I got your back.
Sorry, Laura. I'm going to turn around with my back to everybody and to all the other cultists. Definitely not Larsa. Larsa.
Oh, so you already think of her as a cultist?
No, I think of her as even worse, a civilian.
Correct. She can never see a judge as a person. I understand that. Yeah, absolutely. So you turn away from the group into the corner.
Okay, and I'm going to, with one of my thumbs, no, not my thumb. That's fucking stupid. I'm going to get my combat knife.
That makes more sense.
And from the inside of the hood, I'm going to poke holes out. No, I'm not going to.
Specificity is very good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Guy Bradford would have done that in another game.
You want my helmet? Sure, 1 second.
Okay, so you cut out your eye holes in your hood. You've got this executioner-style hood that covers you from the nose up. So you create your own cultist Batman hood, basically.
Yes, but I'm going to keep the helmet. I'm not going to leave it outside.
You're not leaving it with everyone else.
Exactly, but it is going to be hiding underneath my cloak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe that. That'll work.
Great. So I turn back, and all you see is just. It's like one of those old shitty like superhero costumes they would have had in a black and white 1930s variation of Batman, where it's just a piece of cloth, and it's like, I'm still menacing.
At 6'4" with yourself bulked out to armor size? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are.
Great.
Thank you, Judge.
He looks at her and then just turns, and he gave. I don't know if you could see it, but it was one of those imperceptible, just little. He's nodding with his eyes.
Is that the okay that she learned to read last time?
Were you watching his mouth or his eyes?
Well, I'm watching his mouth because that's the only thing she
Roll
sees
me
to
a
see.
perception.
It's a 10.
10. You didn't see what happened there because he nodded with his eyes and you were watching his mouth.
Ah, that's true. All right. Well, we'll discuss them. We will detox all of this later.
I did give her a thumbs up at one point, but now I've stopped her. I'm like, no.
All right.
You
Well,
need to
you only get
anticipate
one.
me. Yeah.
everyone has their orders. Break.
Okay, so they are heading for the hospital and you were heading for an Overwatch position. Where do you want to situate yourself relative to the hospital? It is 6 stories tall, and it is not, one hallway thick where you can see everything happening. So it's a question of where do you think you'll be the most useful?
I think it's somewhere, if we can get somewhere in the middle of the building so that we could shoot up or shoot down.
Absolutely.
That
Do you
we
want to be
would
at the
be able
front or
to-
back of the building?
Is there more windows on one side or the other, or more view?
From what you've seen, it seems like there's an equal number of windows. Some are covered up, some are not. If you're going back through the tape and you had pretty good tape on this and a pretty good perception roll, you can see that you will be able to see into kind of a line of rooms. Then there is a door, which may be open to a hallway or not. And then there are rooms on the other side. You're not sure if it's rooms, hallway rooms, or if there are another layer of rooms in the middle of the building.
Okay.
As an Overwatch, it's kind of, you might be able to cover some of what's happening depending on which part of the building they end in. You also may be able to call them to your side of the building if shit goes bad. Where you're like,
Yes.
oh, we're at the back of the building. Make your way to the back of the building. And then you can start picking off people from rooms that are relative to them. Or you could serve as a distraction simply to just get security forces outside by opening fire into the building.
Yeah, I think then the back makes the most sense. Eventually, we probably want to run back out the way we came in because going deeper into the hive is probably way to get lost. But I think the back of the building, and then as Morgan can watch through and see where they are, we can at least move. Because I brought Brother Solomon so he can move this gun so we aren't a fixed position, at least for now.
Great.
But starting at the back sounds correct.
Super. So you go around to the back of the building. Are you having them delay going in until you are in Overwatch position, or are you going to Overwatch while they're already approaching the hospital? You have microbeads, so all of you can speak a la like radio, like ear touching conversation. So it is possible for you to say like, wait here, go get into position, and then they go.
Great. I think that's what it is. It's just wait until we get into position and then going off with Brother Solomon to find a place first.
Great. You're being followed by Larsa Quinn and Rex 2, both of whom can move themselves. They are remaining quiet. They are just
That's
following.
fine. Great.
Fabulous. You make your way around to these buildings. You're looking at a large hab stack. Think apartment building, brutalist England built in the 60s. That kind of pseudo-Soviet architecture. Every one of the apartments that is frontward facing has a balcony, like a balcony that they could look out onto with the glass style doors. It's probably a cheaper Plastech material here that they use solely because it's cheaper than concrete to build the structure. But you can go into that building. Are you intending to stealth your way up? Are you trying to just kind of hurry your way up to a room? What's your strategy once you get into the building? Like choose your building and begin to make your move.
At this point, we have to just hurry. I think she's out ahead of Brother Solomon and the other two, trying to find the position, but he's clanking and carrying a big gun. That stealth is not of the essence. It's just speed. It's speed for us to get to a good position to then be able to
Great.
look over.
Can I get you to roll me a perception? And Brother Solomon, can I get you to roll me an athletics just to see how quickly you can move through this building?
Another
Good
nat
Lord.
one. I just love
like
rolling
10.
them. I know. Now it's a nat 20.
Hey.
Yo. Dirty 19.
Dirty
Oh,
19. You guys find exactly the position that you want. So you are into this building. It seems to be the majority empty. There are a couple of people you hear kind of crawling around or rooting around in their apartments. You're not sure exactly what. It's not like this has been completely abandoned, but it's clear this is a small number of survivors or cultists scrounging for food. You're not sure.
Okay.
This building is 8 stories tall. So what floor do you want to be on relative to the hospital? That's the big
And
question.
the hospital's 6?
Hospital is 6.
Let's be 3.
Great. So you're right at the mid-range of this. Also a good height if you had to rappel or jump down from
Yes.
out of the balcony. It's possible to do with only mild injury. You take a position. Are you going out on the balcony? Are you staying inside but opening the door and keeping an eye on it? How ready do you want to be and how exposed do you want to be? Inside the apartment, there's kind of the generic furniture, but it's clearly one simple hab unit. There's a messy, kind of ruined, stained bed. There's a couch there. There's a TV screen that's been smashed. There's a bloody handprint over it. It's clear somebody came in and just hauled the person out of this room and took them out.
Perfect.
The balcony itself, there's the plastic doorway, which can be slid open or closed. And then there's just a simple no furniture balcony. It's about 4 feet deep as you go out. It's got a concrete base, and there's a metal railing around the top.
Great. Morgan is going to run to the bed, strip any of the sheets and anything off of the bed, put them over the gun so we can set up the gun on the balcony, but it doesn't look like a gun at first glance.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
And then we will be in the doorway. So not just standing out on the balcony in case anyone's taking pot shots or any cultists are looking for people. So standing just inside the door, and then Morgan will radio back down to the rest of the group.
So to be clear, you are setting up
The gun on the balcony.
So you were taking the 50 cal autocannon, you're wrapping that in sheaths so that it is disguised as just a trailing piece of broken furniture or whatever
Yes.
on the railing of the balcony.
Yes.
But then you are stepping back into the apartment. So you're not
Correct.
actively manning the gun.
Correct.
And your long last is with you.
Correct.
It's not disguised. It's just ready to go when you are ready to go.
Exactly.
Fabulous. I can follow that. You are able to see most of the hospital from where you are. You can't see the first floor from back from the balcony, but you can see the second through to probably the fourth or fifth.
Okay.
So you can't see the very top floor. You can't see the bottom one. But the moment you take a step out onto the balcony, you can see the whole building.
Great.
You are at the rear of the building.
How long does it take to do a medicine check on somebody?
Who are you trying to check?
Larsa.
You can do that. Absolutely.
I just realized, like, as Morgan's setting up the gun and she's wrapping it and kind of doing all these tactical things, I think Solomon would realize that she has like a festering wound on the back of it. He's like, I can help you. Is it like it can be done in the time it would take?
Oh, yeah, you can do it at
okay.
the same time, no problem. Can you roll me, though, a Constitution saving throw? Looking at the symbol of Khorne makes you physically sick. So can you minister to someone the way you traditionally would?
Hey, well, he'd love to try. He pukes his guts out. He got a
You go to
3.
approach and you end up throwing up and having to back away from her back. You can't bring yourself to touch this unholy symbol of the enemy.
That's a fun. He's never experienced that before. That's very cool. So I think he would keep trying. He'd be like, wait,
It must be something else.
oh Jesus, the emperor. Oh. No, I can try.
Okay, can you roll me again? I'll give you advantage.
Yeah. He's got puke all down the front of him. It's like in his armor.
Got puke on your festering parts.
Sorry, it stinks. Oh, you got a 10.
You have
that time.
advantage. You have advantage.
Oh, okay. Just a 10.
Take that 10. Are you adding anything?
I can't. I got just a straight
got no con.
Nope, I'm just a regular.
10. It doesn't make you throw up at this point or gag, but you still just cannot bring yourself to approach and touch this unholy symbol carved in blood.
Sure. So I think as Morgan is setting up, he's still going to keep trying. He grabs like a ripped sheet and he's trying to cover his eyes so he doesn't have to look right at it. He's like, it's not working.
Okay, if you're going to blind yourself, I'll let you make a medicine check at disadvantage. If you're
he
determined to
wants help
blindfold
so
yourself
bad.
and heal
Like,
this lady.
I'm trying.
Oh, no.
What are you doing? 11. At disadvantage, that's just a 9.
That's a 9.
Yeah.
You confirm. Ow! Ow!
Yeah.
Yes, my back is hurt.
Oh, it's gross.
What?
I'm sorry. Let me try. He's jabbing at it.
Ow!
Oh.
Ow!
Oh,
Stop,
no.
stop touching it.
If only I had my pool of healing.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry, Morgan. Are you ready with the gun? I can no longer help this poor lost soul.
Morgan, you look back and see Brother Solomon has blinded himself and just his hands are covered in Larsa's blood where he's been touching all of her wounds.
It's a deleted scene from Bird Box.
Morgan is going to deal with that in a moment.
Yeah.
And she just radios down. We are in position, Overwatch, on the 3rd floor of the hab at the back of the medical building.
Understood.
Copy that.
You both be as safe as you can. I'll be watching.
Understood.
Copy that.
Proceeding into the building.
Over and out. She'll be watching as far as she can with Romeo, but she's looking back at...
Yeah, you don't have Romeo access.
Yeah, right.
You're behind
Great,
the building
okay,
and they're in front of
perfect.
it.
That's fine. So she lost that. She will look back at the Brother Solomon. Brother Solomon, what are you doing?
I was trying to help this poor heretical wound left on Larsa here, but there's something I can't get near it. It turns my stomach. I'm revulsed.
Morgan's gonna walk over.
Poor Larsa, just so defeated in this moment.
She's having a day.
Yeah.
Morgan's gonna walk over and take off this blindfold that Solomon has put on himself. Don't, Solomon, don't look at it.
Oh.
Your hands are too holy to deal with heretical things. I know you're trying to help.
He goes back inside to try and find a sink.
There is no functional water in this place.
Gross.
This toilet has some water.
This toilet has the mark of Khorne. Oh no.
So you're stuck. If you want to wipe your hands, you can either go wipe them on the mattress in the room, or you could just wipe them on the wall.
I think he'll go to the mattress and just
Great, contributing to the nightmare fuel that is this room now, a blood-stained, sheetless bed. And you go join Morgan by the door? Fantastic. The camera pans around to the front of the hospital where you are making your approach. Damien and Judge Rex.
I can tell the way you cover your face in fear. You have so much confidence in us.
There is the public entrance, and there is the entrance into the emergency room. Which entrance would you want to take if you're approaching the front of the building?
We belong here. The main entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep up appearances.
Not emergency, where I'm sure they're having all kinds of fun. Main entrance.
Great. You're going for the main entrance. Can you roll me, maybe it could be an insight, could be a religion, could be an investigation or a history. I just want to see if there's any thoughts you might have from your experience as a witch hunter on ways to make yourself more convincing heretics approaching this building.
I'll go religion for that. That's a total of 3 for religion.
You're doing great.
I'm doing great.
Fabulous. You guys are making your way up to this public entrance. You see that there are flayed guard security patrolling outside this building. As you'd seen on the video, it all matches. They've got the skinless faces, just weeping blood as they stagger around on duty. They're moving relatively efficiently, not as good as the Imperial Guard. Do you think the Astra Militarum are more focused than this? This is a big note for the judge. They're like aping professionalism, but they're not quite pros themselves. 2 of them stand inside the hospital door as you approach this MedStack building, and the doors automatically open, and you find yourself facing flayed guard. What's the purpose of your visit, cultist?
I've been summoned to question Talos Ivo.
Okay, so that means you got to go up to... that's above my pay grade. It'll be on one of the top floors, I'm sure. We just got generally injured cultists down here. Okay, so pay the blood tithe. And he takes out a glass bowl under a chain, kind of chained up and held, kind of like you see at Christmas at the mall. There is loose blood sloshing around inside it, and he holds it out towards you.
Can I motion to you with my fingers?
You absolutely can.
Do you still have the fingers?
I did not keep the fingers, no.
Oh.
I did not.
All right. Well, I was like, drip the blood drip the finger blood in.
Damien will turn to his quote unquote underling and say, pay it.
Understood. And I'm going to take your hand.
All right.
Because I have like full Arbites gloves and stuff underneath all my stuff. So I'm
gonna wrench his hand out of your grip and be like, fucking, like, all right. And he's like, great, super. And it's gonna like just.
Both guards now have their hands on their pistols at their hips, but they're still waiting.
Damon's like, cool it. And just like takes out his sickle and he'll just like draw like down the back of his forearm, just a line, and hold his elbow over so that enough of it kind of drips down into the bowl.
They just wait for it to drip enough. Nice. Okay. You guys hangs it back up. And the 2 guards step aside, allowing you into the MedStack building.
How much damage do I take for that?
For that, roll me a D4. And we will divide by 2.
So it's a 2, so 1 damage?
1 damage. Okay. You're experienced with self-flagellation from the cult of the Empire, so you know what the Emperor wants, and you've had realistically over your childhood, you would have like whipped yourself, you would have burned yourself, you would have done all of the expected things. So weirdly, you're kind of a an expert in this disturbing form of worship, just for the other side.
Yeah.
The 2 guards step aside and you are allowed into the building. As you step in, you can see that the hallways are lined with injured cultists. Many of them are dead, having bled out on the floor. So this is like a hospital of sticky floors and walls. There are blood stains, pools of blood everywhere. It's clear that crude surgeries are being done in the rooms. People on this level, as you kind of walk down the hallway, can you roll me a perception? I'll just make sure that I'm giving you...
Both of us?
There's a bunch of stuff you'll automatically... Yes, please.
4.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is a 9.
Yeah, you're both in a horror movie, and it's hard to take that in. I think, Judge, you're also unsettled by the fact that you don't have your helmet, which means that you feel tremendously exposed inside an environment like this. There is a professional distance that having a helmet and a visor, like you are seeing the world not through your eyes, you are seeing it through an Arbites helmet, which has its own supports and systems to allow you to get through these horrors. Whereas now... you're just raw dogging reality, and it is a rough ride as you go down this hallway. The lights are flickering. It's clear that there is not consistent power throughout this building. And inside rooms, you're watching surgeries be done without anesthetic, without support. Sometimes you're seeing surgeons that are actually seem to be helping the patient and concerned with keeping them alive. And in other rooms, you are seeing surgeons that are just gleefully disemboweling, dismembering people. There's a question clearly of, are these the people who help, or are these the priests who are just here to get blood and organs out of these bodies?
As we move through,
Yes.
am I able to at least, once I get over the shock of this place and my issues with not donning a mask, am I able to at least widen a visual search using my peripheral vision to find
you don't have that because you're wearing a mask, but please continue.
Yeah, that's right. Damn it. To find like a spare stim or two, a medical stim that might be lying around.
That's an interesting question. Okay, roll me a perception, I will say with disadvantage on this floor because it's very kind of exposed to reality and there are a lot of patients around.
Okay, that's 11.
11. You don't see stims here. You see them scattered about. They seem to be dusty in some places or have blood poured over them. Your guess would be that they were already used on patients who had come in. But there is a chance, from what you heard at the door, if patients who are here to be interrogated are kept at higher floors and they're using medicine to keep them alive to interrogate them longer, your guess would be the higher up you get, the more likely you will be able to claim stims or other items that are useful to you, because odds are the supplies are being used there, not here.
Great. And we have to make our way up, I would assume, because he would be a valuable target to Talos Ivo.
Yeah.
So he's being interrogated.
Yeah.
Cool.
Damien will, moving through these halls as well, will report on the comm beat of just like Talos should be being interrogated on one of the higher up floors. We're proceeding up there.
Good. Keep in contact.
Will do. Over and out. And then he will stop if we have like a moment of like where eyes and ears are not on us, as far as he can tell.
I mean, not actively on you. There
Yeah.
are people moaning in the hallway who are tremendously injured and people screaming. There's a lot of sound.
Yeah. Damien's going to stop about face and like stick a finger into Rex's chest and be like, that stunt out there at the door is not going to cut it in here. You're going to get us killed if you can't play along.
He's not going to even make eye contact with Damien. He's just going to look down at his finger and just produce a very subtle frown with this person literally sticking his finger in the judge's business. And then he's just going to say, under his breath, take that finger away before you lose the entire hand. I am wearing armor all around my body. If I were to produce a hand, I would be giving away our plot. Question me again or make me do stunts for you like a monkey, and you won't live very long, heretic.
And that hits Damien. That's a good point. Like out of character, I have to fully concede, like, it's a great point, but Damien is going to be a shithead about it, right? So I'm just thinking, like, Damien's going to be like, yeah, he'll take his finger back and say, just follow my lead. And he'll turn and walk away kind of thing.
And you begin moving down the hallway. You can see in the distance there is a bank of elevators. Flayed guard are standing in front of each of them. There are 2 guards per elevator. These are all flayed guard with the same armament you have seen previously. Las gun, fire axe. They're clearly ready for combat. The ones in here you can see the axes are much more freshly wet than you've seen elsewhere. There are a number of bodies outside of these elevators who clearly were people just trying to get to the elevator who weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Can you roll me a perception as you close in?
13.
Can I get one from you as well, Judge?
Of course. Thank God. That is a 14.
14. Okay, the 14 will get you there. You are listening, and it is clear that anyone who wants to use the elevators is only being allowed to do so if they can produce a prisoner. You hear a number of cultists trying to get up to higher floors because they want to get access to additional medical care or stims. They are sternly told to return and either die in the hallway or a surgeon will see to them. Or if they push the issue, you actually see 2 flayed guard just take one guy apart. They're just chopping his limbs off, and then they kick the pieces to the side. Clearly, they have actually had to fight enough people here and move bodies that they've learned to just break people up, so it's easier to get rid of them and dispose of them within the facility.
Okay. You spot that, it sounds like.
Yes.
So Damien is proceeding towards the elevator.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to stop you ever so briefly. I'm just going to lightly place one finger underneath my cloak, so I'm not exposing it. And I'm placing it on your thigh just so you can't break past it.
No, well, Damien does not do physical touch very well, so that he feels that he's like, don't do that, and stops.
Great. And I'm
you're tapping at Morse code, so you guys can have a full conversation because you have the ability to signal.
I'm also
God,
so
it's
I'll be
agony each touch.
I'll be motion. I'll just be motion. I realize I don't want to touch him either because he's still icky.
Because I'm tainted.
But I am drawing his attention to my hand, to my fingers, very lightly through the cloak, and I am just going to give a message, and I'm going to say, we need a prisoner, and just look for anybody here that has not yet been taken in for surgery, preferably somebody that is injured to the point that they can't really talk well and they can't give away our intentions. So I would like to take a hostage, and we're going to just have to make up some story for this person to get access.
Great. Roll me a perception. With advantage. You're looking for an unconscious person, functionally.
Oh, that's pretty good. Perception is dirty 24.
Ooh.
Wow.
24. Okay. You make your way around this short part of the passageway that you were in looking for someone appropriate. And you find someone dressed in the shredded and tattered remnants of a city works style employee. This is clearly somebody who had been employed by the administratum, but in a more technical capacity of they've been administering to the infrastructure of the city. This has been torn up. They have numerous cuts and scars over their body. They have a large sigil of Khorne carved into their chest that is on display, but they are unconscious and blood is leaking from their mouth. It seems like your guess would be based on the injuries. Can you both roll me medicine?
Dirty 22.
2.
Dirty 21.
Damien, you thought this person was dead at first, but okay, I guess they're just going to die.
What are you doing with him? Oh, he's alive.
Judge, what you realize is his injury is likely from an explosion. It seems like he's had a blast that's hit him that started to pulp his internal organs, which is why he still seems pretty solid. He will hold up to some transport. This is not a guy you're going to even be able to make talk, but that may be what you want anyways.
Oh, yes. As long as he's somewhat ambulatory, this is actually
When you
ideal.
say ambulatory, please define.
If we walk him a bit, I'll see at least some energy in his steps. Like he'll be able to shuffle ever so lightly, even though his brain's not fully there.
I think this guy you would have to weekend at Bernie's. You want to haul him? Then you can both take him by the arm and haul him forwards. He's still clearly breathing. But if you want somebody who can't talk,
no. Okay.
Then that's
then he's
probably
not
the level of injury you're looking at.
Okay, well then that's weekend at Bernie's. That's also a good second.
He's still breathing. You might be able to get a groan out of him. You're not sure if you start moving him around because it would undoubtedly hurt. But you have this guy. You also see he has an ID badge on him that lists him as Marius Mins.
Marius Mins.
And it just underneath it says water distribution.
Jesus. A waterworks guy. He doesn't need this. Damien doesn't check this, so I'm going to basically relay this information to him with my hands, and I'm going to have you do the talking though, because I don't want to talk to any of this scum unless I absolutely have to. So after relaying all this to you, I'm just say, you come up with a story for this character, and I will act in your play.
All right. Very good. You say we need to have prisoners to take the elevator. I still think he's just currency then. We bring a prisoner because they want them, but I'm here to interrogate Talos Ivo. I want to take the elevator, so here's your pound, or about 150 pounds of flesh.
Acknowledged.
Great. And Damien will walk back around towards the elevator.
Fabulous. The three of you approach the elevators and join the line. A number of cultists ahead of you are turned away. You hear a conversation with someone who is bringing a prisoner. Can you both roll me a perception?
8.
That's 7.
You're not sure exactly what's said, but a number of other cultists are turned away. 2 other people are fully dismembered, and then you reach the front of the line. All right. What do you bring in? What prisoner do you got for us? The flayed guard, it's a shorter woman, but she's covered in blood. This is somebody who has done a lot of nasty things in these hours and seems to be overjoyed about it, though you can only see the muscles of her face moving because there's no skin.
Yeah. I am here to interrogate Talos Ivo, and I understand you need a prisoner in order to use the elevator, so we have one here.
Well, no, normally you're interrogating and delivering the person that you bring with you. So who do you have?
We picked this one up on the way over here.
Okay. And what knowledge do they have that's necessary for the flayed man?
Works in water distribution. We'd have access to the water supply.
How does that help us? How does that help us?
We control the water supply. We dry him out. The only fluid left in him is the blood.
That could work. Roll me a d20 for I guess deception. Sure. This feels like it could be persuasion. I'd give you either.
I think it's the same for either one. 17.
There are a lot of holdouts. Let us narrow them down. Okay. You can go up with the prisoner. That makes sense. Yes, the flayed men are like this. We can only send you to the 3rd floor, and then you've got to cross. As I imagine you know.
First time here, I've been ordered to come over and question a valuable asset.
Why you and not one of us? Why do you have a face?
My face allows me to move where I need to. It's an asset to the flayed man.
Plans within plans, flayed. The flayed man's plans. Yes. Okay. Yes. Go up. You're good. 3rd floor. You have to go all the way across, and then you'll have to talk to the guards at that elevator. They are not us. You know how there's us and then there's them. They're not us. So be careful.
You're referring to the flayed guard?
No, they're not us.
Oh, they're not of us at all.
Can you roll me a persuasion or deception?
I'm doing great. 8.
Roll to 7.
Oh my God.
They're Crimson Brotherhood. They're blood hides. They're some of the brothers. The brothers, not the flayed guard. The brothers.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
They hit the button for the elevator a jangling bunch of times.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have even been able to tell where that button was on the wall. It's amongst all these blood smears.
Gorse.
And then you hear the ding and the elevator opens. Inside the elevator is also sprayed with arterial blood. There's a corpse in the corner with no legs, but you can go in and bring your prisoner.
And so, Damien will wordlessly go in.
I will follow suit. When the door's shut, I got to tip my helmet to him. I'm just going to be like, impressive.
Damien will just grunt and hit the third floor button.
All right, you make your way up to the third floor. It dings when you arrive and you come out. You've heard some of this over the microbead, Morgan. Solomon as well. Just able to hear kind of their side of the conversation. There's some passive pickup that you're able to do, and I'm imagining that channel would be kept open for this purpose.
Speaking it maybe in the elevator of like just an update on what we learned, yeah.
Absolutely. Has anything been going on in the apartment other than you listening in and hearing what Damien's been saying?
Morgan has been holding. She is very good at waiting and being patient and being quiet. I don't think that's probably Solomon's strong suit, but she's very eyes on the prize and is also trying to think. Obviously, we can rappel down from the third floor, but she's trying to think whether it would be advantageous for them to move up if the group is moving up. But I think as soon as she heard that there's third floor and that there's heavier people on the third floor, it's like we may have to intervene on this third floor. Mm-hmm. So it may be worth just staying. But she's very much for her, it's like she could just stay at the sniper position, ready to fire, wait for as long as it needs be.
Great. Could you roll me an insight or an investigation?
I'll take an investigation at a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You realize one thing that your team inside that building does not have at this moment is the data spike. So if they find a cogitator, they don't have the ability to pull anything out of it. However, if they come to your side of the building, then your wonderful little friend, I believe it's Romeo? Romeo could fly over to you. You could attach the data spike to him and fly it back to any of the windows at the hospital if you wanted them to have that moving upwards.
That makes sense.
Not required, but it's an option.
No, I like that as an option. So she will radio back to Damien. Damien, if you manage to find the third floor window that you can get open, I could fly Romeo out to me and give you the data spike. Then if you find any cogitators in that building, Closet will be able to look through them and potentially help us further. It's just an option. Do not risk either of you in order to do this.
All right, stand by. And he'll say to Rex, like, Find a secluded room with a window. Closer to the rear, the better.
Copy that.
As you are advancing onto this third floor, you see that there are a number of empty rooms along this first half of the building as you're moving forwards. At the end of this very long hallway, as you look, you can see two brothers, you would imagine, of the Crimson Brotherhood. These figures are standing. They have blades in their hands, like bone swords almost. The same style of blade that you had seen wielded earlier by the Blood Priest, only these are in their hands, long, waving. It's a combination of metal bone. Can you roll me a perception? You are a far ways away, but I just want to know if you can see more details.
7.
9.
7 and 9. Okay. They are carrying these quite casually. They are thickly muscled. They are wearing kind of blood red uniforms, seemingly stained, that fit them despite their extreme bulk. They're torn off at the sleeves, so you can see the scarring of all their musculature. You can see symbols to Khorne. You can see a giant stylized CB on the other shoulder, seeming like they're almost echoing some of the, for you, Space Marine style armor pauldrons that you had seen on the Ultramarines. Obviously, these are not Space Marines, but they clearly have seen some at some point, or at least Shivoth Bloodhide has, if this is passed down through this group. You are not seeing ranged weapons on their person. You are just seeing these big metallic bone swords in one hand, and they're just generally muscled, staring forward, scarified faces, scarified heads, holding position. You're also hearing weeping and coughing and other desperate sounds from the half of the building towards them.
So, just for my clarity,
Yes.
as a player, so these blood guards, basically, they have the indentations where like a cybernetic implant would meet the armor?
No, they have
Okay.
tattooing and scarification that's clearly designed in the same way of like, oh, here's the one arm that's got the CB of the Crimson Brotherhood
I
and the
see.
other arm that is kind of their personal designation, perhaps a squad designation, you don't know.
Oh, okay. Copy that.
So it's clear they are supremely tough. You see the two of those, and then as you are moving forwards, you see a number of other ones moving back and forth, crossing in the hallway between rooms. Your guess would be 4, maybe 5, you're not sure, of these brothers, and one crossing with a gigantic, it looks like a sack of body parts on his back that is just got a collection of limbs with a large, almost tuba-esque instrument under one arm that he is holding up. He's very strong and is taking both arms to hold this thing in place. It's got a big kind of blunderbuss style opening in front of him, a big piece of a crude mechanical engine at the center of it, and then a giant funnel in the back. You're not sure what that one does.
Yeah. How wide is this hallway?
This hallway is about... You could move 2 gurneys comfortably down it, like the hospital gurneys that are pretty wide, and still fit people on either side of it because it's designed for a lot of movement. So you're looking at 10 feet wide in the hallway at this point, 10, maybe 12.
Okay.
And doors staggered along the way as you're moving down the hallway.
In this hallway, though, am I able to perceive any medical stims?
In the hallway, you'd have to look into the side rooms, but you absolutely can.
I would quickly like to do that, just tilt my head, give it a little once-over as I'm passing through.
Roll me a perception.
Great. That's a dirty 20.
All right. You are glancing into the rooms around you. You see that the stim packs where you would normally see them on the walls, they've all been clearly crudely emptied, torn open, torn off, things scattered across the floor and things that are useful. However, you do find one stim tucked under a cart inside one of the rooms. As you look in and lean, it just shifts a little bit. You see that one had fallen behind it when this current, emergency box was torn open. So there's one stim that you have access to. It will do 2d4 plus 2 healing should you blast yourself or someone else with it.
Let me just write that down. 2d4
plus 2.
Plus 2 med stim. Great.
I will make a note with stims as opposed to the magical healing. They give temporary HP. Which means they will not wake you up if you are unconscious or stabilized to the point of death. You have to have at least 1 HP for it to stack on top of it. It's the idea of it supercharging your system with drugs as opposed to legitimately giving you good healing.
Yeah.
So temp HP will stack on top of your regular HP. So if you're at full health, you can still blast yourself with one of those. You get 2d4 plus 2 on top of it, and that's the first health removed. You also can't stack stims. It's not like you can jam yourself with 4 of them and just keep having more. I am the chosen one.
Yeah.
No, you can take 1, and if it's fully used, then you can take another. Or if you redose, it'll just give you a new 2d4 plus 2 amount.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take that.
You've got that. You can also see in these early rooms, you do have access to the rear of the building. You can go through them if you want to get to a window to be able to do this. You won't be able to do that closer to the elevator. You're not sure what's in those rooms, but they're clearly being patrolled.
Yeah. If Damien sees you kind of go into this room and snatch this stim from kind of under the tray, as you're coming back, he'll just do a quick hand gesture of good looking out. Have you spotted a window?
Did I spot a window? Yeah, I spotted a window.
So then he'll come in and just turn to Romeo and say, Romeo, go find Morgan.
Romeo zips out the window and flies over, hovers his way over to find you, Morgan. It takes him a moment. Can you roll me a perception for him?
Sure. Of course it's a nat 1.
That's crazy.
That was also
Slightly cocked,
balanced
yeah.
and then settled on a 1.
on it. So, that's what I'm here
We
for.
have to
Well, you
check
reroll
the
ones,
tape.
right?
That's
But
that's
it's-
50.
It's for Romeo?
I don't think I re-rolled the 1 because it's for the
It's for
servo
Romeo.
skull.
Yeah, it's for the servo. It's for the servo skull.
That's crazy.
So
How many can I roll?
he flies out of the hospital and he's zipping around trying to find you, Morgan. And that's when last gunfire starts shooting up into the air at Romeo. He is struck and he falls.
This episode of Agents of the Inquisition features the voices of players Del Borovic, Guy Bradford, Josh Halbert, and Tyler Hewitt, alongside our Dungeon Master Ryan LaPlante. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Agents of the Inquisition's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. Though the team is working under special condition, this podcast isn't. So tell your friends about Agents of the Inquisition, and join us next episode. Rabute Gilliman himself commands it.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Mickey Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, Lady Destiny Stormbringer, Randall Eberly, the Yes Bud of improvisational comedy, Lord Taser, Funky Stevie, J. Robert the Mad Fox, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.